Firstly, Richard and I would like to thank Dr. Suzanne Commerce and Associate Professor Krishna Bista for the opportunity to contribute to their book. Our chapter focuses on 2 metropolitan universities in Australia. Richard and I are academics in the area of teacher education programs. We work at 2 different universities. We initially met and worked at the same institute, and Richard's now at a different university. In our experience, we found that study abroad programs generally attract a small subset of elite and privileged students, and faculty members are often not all included. So it's not always inclusive for all students and staff. So in an effort to contribute to an equitable pathway to internationalization, we recognize the need and importance for all students to have an equal opportunity of internationalizing the curriculum at home. So we took into consideration the diverse circumstances of our students' economic situations that they're from, because they're from varied backgrounds and etc. And we addressed a more inclusive nature of offering something at home. So the pay as you go, pay to go overseas and study abroad is not always inclusive for all students and staff. So we focused on the Bachelor of Education primary course, which we call the BEd Primary. I'm a music educator, so what I do in an effort to teach about multicultural music, I connect my students with academics and musicians or culture bearers locally and internationally through Skype or telephone conferencing, and also face-to-face workshops for those that live here in Australia. So these teachers and performers come from Australia, Africa, Malaysia, Spain, Sri Lanka, and New Zealand. I'm formerly from South Africa, so I also teach about African music to my students, but invite others to offer students a perspective about culture, history, heritage. And this gives my students an opportunity to engage with people away from locally, but to gain some intercultural and international perspectives on pedagogical approaches to teaching songs, instruments, etc. I'll hand over to Richard and he'll talk about his program with the eTutor.
Thanks, Dawn. Thank you for this 2 a.m. adventure. I can't believe it. Anyhow, folks, you have to remember that this project that I'm talking about, eTutor, was in the pre-pandemic era. So it was quite novel. We were talking about teaching online. Our students doing the Bachelor of Education were actually tutors teaching children. Well, it was basically teaching English, and the students were in Malaysia, Pakistan, India, and Nepal mainly. And this came after several experiences that I had of taking groups of students to do practicum in these countries. And I was never entirely happy with what was going on, really. I saw it as a little bit of a junket, 4 weeks in another country teaching, whereas this eTutor experience was actually a really good cultural experience, a good exchange. And it happened for the large number of students who could not afford to travel overseas. So I thought it was really successful. And what they were doing, our students were doing, were reflecting on learning, but largely intercultural learning. And the other aspect of it that was very interesting was the whole process of setting up these partnerships. And that was quite, well, it was quite tedious at times, but the cultural knowledge that was exchanged was quite remarkable. So I think the process of setting that up was also quite fabulous. Thank you.